JF Stretford, Paddock. This is Paddock Live. That's Joe Smith.
Man.
What?
Yes, man.
What's that?
I'm just going for like a sort of more like low-level cool energy these days.
Yeah?
Yes, man.
That's low-level cool.
I don't know, carry on.
That sounds like low-level spice addict in Piccadilly Gardens, covered in urine. Right, anyway.
I'm only one of those things.
Enough of those things. We're going to be talking about your favourite topic, Jadon Sancho.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about your second favourite topic. Stop doing that.
Okay.
Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about
Jesse
Lingard.
Mm.
Hey, Newcastle's billions coming to the rescue, apparently, perhaps, maybe, and loads of other good stuff as well. Get involved in the comments and the chat. Hit that like button. Give us a like if you are watching. We've got 48 likes. Let's get to 100 likes by
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Come on. With you guys can do it. Loads of people already commenting. Andy Long says Bellum. Barry Burnett says Bellum. Anthony Jarvis says Bellum. You live on. Your legacy lives on from your nonsense. So yeah, make sure as well, if you're not doing, you are subscribing to the channel.
Hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe, man. So what we're starting with, Jadon Sancho.
Ooh, yeah.
Now this is quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
Now, just a bit of background. Joseph, fill us in on everything, the background to this story.
So, Jadon Sancho didn't play the other night, or last night, as we saw. He was seemingly at a family funeral.
Yeah.
And
I think it was his auntie. He posted
Yeah.
on Insta, I think.
I'm assuming
something
those
to
two
do with his
things were
auntie, yeah.
linked.
So
It seems reasonable to suggest that they were. And Rangnick basically came out and said it. He said he was at a funeral. And now there's rumours that Sancho's team and Sancho aren't happy with the fact that he kind of, alluded to the fact, or basically gave the game away of what was going on and where he was. It wasn't particularly private with the information. And also reports of him doing a sort of head tap sort of motion to suggest that he's struggling with the mental side of things a little bit, which is slightly, what's the word? Uncouth, perhaps?
yeah, I
What do
mean,
you reckon?
listen, I appreciate that Jadon Sancho's obviously going through an emotional time. He's just lost someone, been to a funeral, and then he's got the added pressure of when is he coming back, what's happening on the football side of things. Thomas Frank name-checked him as well last
not
night.
bad. We'll get to him in a bit.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that. I think he was trying to prove a point about the fact United had a £70-odd million player who wasn't playing. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and take it. He didn't know that Jadon Sancho was at a funeral. If he did, that's disgusting. I'd take it he didn't. But it was a bit strange to sort of go, they had a player worth 72 million quid that wasn't playing or whatever.
Because also, if you looked into it even remotely, you would know that Sancho is usually on the bench if he's not starting. He's not someone that's regular out of the squad unless he's injured, is he?
I think there's this issue there, and it's sort of addressed there. Sorry, the issue that's going on. Matt Dickinson in the Times has been speaking about it. He's done an article on it.
Yeah.
And there's this sort of feeling that Ralph Rangnick's conveying the impression that Jadon Sancho's struggling mentally. When I say struggling mentally, I mean the best way to put that is it's not physical.
Yeah.
Any issues he's got in terms of playing for Manchester United, they're not physical ailments. There's no physical reason, according to Ralph Rangnick, that Jadon Sancho's not hitting the levels that he was at Dortmund. It's more the sort of mental side of things, getting used to playing for Manchester United, getting used to the pressure, being able to adjust to all that. So when we say mental, sometimes it just has these negative connotations. I know it shouldn't, but
when
sometimes
people
it
say
does.
mental, people think, they're depressed.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing.
Oh, it's some sort of mental illness. It's not.
Yeah,
no. You can be just struggling with your mental mood almost.
Yeah,
It's not,
yeah, like you said, he hasn't got an injury. It's something else.
Yeah.
That's all he's saying.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit of not miscommunication. Things can be communicated a little bit better.
Yeah.
I understand why Jadon Sancho would be a little bit miffed if he feels like he's been made out like he's not up to the job somehow and or whatever. I'm not saying that that is the case.
And also,
but it's a little bit of a minefield, this, and I don't think it's been navigated the greatest way it could have been. And that's why we've had these sort of stories coming out and reports that Jadon Sancho is a little bit unhappy, but also on the sort of flip side to that, he is struggling with something because we know that Jadon Sancho isn't playing as well for Manchester United as he was playing for Dortmund last season. Now, there's several reasons for that, one of which the Premier League is just a faster, better league than the German league.
I was thinking this earlier today.
Right, well, it is, isn't it? Let's not be hipsters.
Yeah, no, I was at home and I was thinking, name players that have come from Germany and been real top class. De Bruyne is the first one I can think of, or the main one I can think of in recent years.
Yeah.
It does tend to be a more difficult transition than other top leagues, doesn't it? Like even France and Portugal seem to have a better hit rate.
We've had two very good players in the Bundesliga.
Kagawa and Mkhitaryan.
Yeah, who flopped for us.
Schweinsteiger, another.
Yeah, Schweinsteiger.
He was only 31 when he came to United, wasn't he? He wasn't dead
enough.
old.
Yeah.
Was he 31?
I think so. But certainly with Kagawa and Mkhitaryan in the mid-20s.
Yeah.
Flying at Dortmund, come to United.
Like Bruno Fernandes numbers at Dortmund.
Like, didn't really do a lot. Quick shout out to EM777, says, evening lads, it's my birthday today, and I met Brian Robson this morning. What a day. And to top it off, you've just had a shout out on Stretford Paddock. No, what a birthday, meeting Brian Robson. Fantastic.
I wonder if, I know that obviously some countries, players don't leave very often, like England's a good example, you know, most top English players are playing in England, whereas you wouldn't say the same about Argentina or Brazil or Spain or, you know. But there haven't been that many top German players in England ever, have there? You can sort of count on one hand the really impressive ones.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there is something about just the transition, because obviously it's a very high standard league. Like Bayern Munich have won, you know, what, 4 Champions Leagues this decade?
Yeah.
This millennium, sorry. But for some reason, they seem to struggle when people come from the Bundesliga a little bit. So maybe it's just going to take a bit longer with Sancho. I'm not doubting that he will come good, but you know, other than De Bruyne, it's hard to think of ones that have really come and stood out. And obviously he was from Chelsea. Was it Chelsea originally, wasn't he? So
yeah, he went from Chelsea to Germany
Wolfsburg.
and then did the business there and then came back to City. Yeah, I mean, it's been a difficult one, hasn't it? There's not loads, is there? I mean, there's one or two, like say De Bruyne and Aubameyang.
Jens Lehmann.
Yeah, there are ones that have done well, but it's not like it's
not like if you're looking at like the French league,
yeah,
which is considered a lower quality league than the Bundesliga. You could go all night talking about great players that have come from the French league.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with that. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think about the Jadon Sancho situation. Yeah. Is anyone worried? Is there anyone concerned? We're not. No. We think it's taking probably taking a bit longer than I would have hoped, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I hope he was going to come into the team and sort of hit the ground running. That's not really happened for a multitude of reasons. But, I mean, I'm not sort of going, Jadon Sancho's a flop or anything like that. But we are halfway through the season. And we've not really seen a lot of Jadon Sancho, have we? No. Which is the sort of a bit of a shame. And, you know, I think now I'm hoping that, like he did last season, we saw it at Dortmund last season, bit of a slow start, then absolutely firing goals and assists, helped him win the cup, then I think he got a brace in the German Cup final as well. More or less, him and Haaland just carried him and Bellingham as well, carried him to the Champions League place as well, because at one point it looked like they weren't going to make Champions League.
For most of the season.
Yeah, they were struggling, weren't they? So I'm hoping that he can have a similar sort of effort towards the end of this season. Are you all right?
Some on the bottom of that. Sorry,
what does it say?
Orca coatings.
Well, there you go. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, that makes me sleep easier tonight.
Hey, did you know killer whale ain't a whale, it's a dolphin?
Is it? I did not know that. Deeper Intention says Firmino, to be fair.
Yeah, good example.
Yeah, it's...
I'm not saying there's none, I'm just saying it does seem to be a more difficult transition, doesn't it?
Yeah, Thomas Dickinson says we just need to get behind the lad. I agree.
Yeah, completely agree. Speaking of get behind the lad.
Go on.
Harry Maguire.
Yeah. Harry Maguire, who has gone from one of the most respected defenders in the world, right? And I'm saying this.
July this year?
Yeah, when he was in team of the tournament.
Yeah. And
he banged in one of the best penalties ever in the Euro final. Everyone's like, Harry Maguire, he's a player you can set your watch to.
Top banana.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about Harry Maguire. We'd have had him in the Europa League final if he hadn't got injured.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And now he's like persona non grata amongst 90% of people in the world. I've just made that style. No, but he does seem to be under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he does.
From all sides.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of the fans aren't too enamoured of him. Some of the pundits. Now I've got ex-players. Jaap Stam, the greatest defender I've ever seen, has questioned United's recruitment over the decision to spend a world record fee for defender. And now captain Harry Maguire. So when you've got someone like Jaap Stam...
I agree, but I would say he's sort of 2 years he's let hindsight be his friend here, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He could have said this 2 years ago.
If he'd have said that at the time...
Yeah, before he'd played...
People would have gone, okay, fair enough, I get it.
Whereas you've waited till he's in the worst form of his career to say it. It's like...
And the thing is, as Roy Keane has proven, just because you were amazing doesn't mean you're always, as a player, doesn't mean you're always right as a pundit. Yeah. You know, there's times when Roy Keane said things I've not agreed with. I understand, right? Listen, we knew when we bought Harry Maguire we were overpaying for him. I didn't speak to anyone any United fan, I certainly don't remember it anyway, and forgive me if you commented in it, I've forgotten, that said that we got a bargain here already.
No.
You know, we've paid the right price for him. Everyone's sort of agreed we're overpaying.
It should be between 40 and 60.
Yeah, but it's worth it because we need it.
Yeah.
Because we need a defender like Harry Maguire who can, you know, be commanding at the back, carry the ball out defence. Mm-hmm. That's what we need. It's worth paying that money. Now, people are questioning it and going, well, we haven't won anything since he's been there. It's even debatable whether he's even good enough to get in the first team now. We've brought in Varane, and the fact that Lindelof has been in decent bit of form. So it is easy for people to start picking on him.
Yeah.
You've been pretty vocal in your support of Harry Maguire since he arrived.
Yeah.
You have. Like,
yeah, generally speaking.
I don't mean you're like
I'm
Maguire.
not still stood here saying he's been great this season.
No, I'm not saying that. I know people get into this thing of, obviously, I'm not saying you're like completely blind to any faults he's got.
No.
But you have always stuck up for him when people, especially we've done a watch long, and like Macca or even people in the comments, oh, Maguire, get rid of him, whatever. And you've been like, hang on a minute, let's just take a step back. Where's he stand on him now at the minute? Are you worried at all?
He's not good enough to play.
Because this is probably the most difficult spell he's had in the club.
He isn't in the form good enough to be playing. He should be on the bench, and he should stay on the bench for now, at least, I think. The captaincy thing, it's a strange argument because I don't think in and of itself the weight of the captaincy was too much for him, because most of the games he's played for United he's been captain, and most of them he's been good.
Yeah.
The problem is now that Ronaldo's there and Varane's there and Bruno has established himself there, now you have to question, is he the leader in the dressing room? Is he the one people look to, like, right, things are going wrong, let's turn to Harry for advice? Probably not. So I don't think in and of itself him being captain is a problem, and I think if we were winning games it wouldn't be a problem. But when we're losing, I'm not quite sure he's got that fire and that kind of like bring everyone back up type mentality that a captain only needs occasionally, but I don't know if he's ever got that, because he's never won anything. He's not a big name. He just isn't Cristiano Ronaldo, is he? So I wonder if now he's down, the captaincy's hurting him. Because when he was flying, I don't think it was. I don't think it was a problem for him. I just think he just needs some time to get back to where he was. And I wouldn't go about selling him. I don't think we should try and get rid of him anytime soon. I think he's a good player. And if he can get back to where he was, for most of last season, certainly the end of last season, then he would take the place of Victor Lindelof in this team. As all right as Victor Lindelof's been, Harry Maguire at his best, which we have seen for long stretches, is better than him. So we just need to get him back there. Like, De Gea's a good example. De Gea was subpar for 3 years.
Yeah.
And now he's looking like one of the best goalies in the league again.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can wait 3 years for Maguire.
No.
But it's been 3 months. Or, when's the season to August, so 6 months, let's say.
Do you know what the problem is
with
this whole Maguire situation? And it's indicative of the club and the mess the club's in. It's not Harry Maguire's fault. We haven't got a scouting system worth a penny. It's not worth.
We could have done it.
It's not worth anything. You look at our scouting system. We bought Harry Maguire, probably the most coveted at the time available centre back in the league. Played all those games for England, got to the semi-finals of the World Cup, scored a goal on the way as well.
City wanted
him, played well against the Scousers. I think he scored against them. It was like the most obvious defender. Scored against us. Like, you could have thrown a stone out the window and you would have hit someone who said, get Harry Maguire. It was not. You don't need a scout to tell you that. Same with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We had this list of 1,000 right-backs or whatever it was, and we bought the most obvious right-back, the one that was man of the match against us, the one that was the most spoken about one.
We love buying someone that was good against us, don't we?
The one that had just been smashing it at Crystal Palace was available. Yeah. They wanted 50 million for him. Leicester wanted 80 million for Maguire. We paid exactly what those clubs asked for those two players. Now, had we had a little bit about us...
Good business.
We could have scouted these players earlier. We could have scouted... Wan-Bissaka, after he played those dozen games in his first season for Crystal Palace, including the game against us, we could have scouted Maguire. We could have been keeping tabs on him since he was at Sheffield United and through his career at Hull and gone, okay, this is a player that potentially could go all the way to the top.
Could have gone for 4 million from Sheffield United.
Or at least from Hull. You could at least said, okay, he's worth taking a punt on now. But we don't. We wait until it's like, it's so obvious, now let's buy him. And sometimes we're buying him and we're overpaying on him, and that adds to the pressure on him, which... means you're not getting the performances from him that you want, and it's this sort of problem we've got. We never seem to find the bargain, even the big bargain we found. Bruno. There's Bruno again.
Was it 38 million?
38 million.
But he wasn't a scouting miracle.
No,
he was putting up 50 goals and assists.
He was linked with Liverpool, he was linked with Spurs.
And he'd just broken Frank Lampard's record for most goals from a midfielder in a year.
That's what's happening. And also, the other one was Dan James. Everyone goes, look, Dan James was a bargain. You know, we got him for 12 million, whatever. Leeds were going to get him for $4.5 million in January. And in June, we paid 12 million for him. And he didn't set the world alight in those 5 months. So yes, 12 million is not a lot in the current climate, or 15 million it was. Yeah. But we still paid 3 times what Leeds were going to pay for him months earlier. So it wasn't the bargain that it was made out to be.
And also, I was thinking, when the last player, I mean, Dan James kind of, but he was never like first choice or anyone's kind of favourite. The last player that you bought that you thought, where's this come from, was Fred.
Yeah.
Even him we paid 50 million quid for. Yeah. And we only got him because City wanted him, or maybe we didn't only get him because City wanted him. But the last time you got someone who wasn't an obvious player to sign was Dan James, who never really was first choice, first team kind of player.
Someone's saying in the comments, we sold Dan James for 20 mil. Fantastic. We made money. The Glazers made some money out of him. Yeah. Great.
But that doesn't help our team.
No.
Like, Fred's the last one where you think, bit of a left field choice, he's playing in Ukraine.
Again, though, City wanted him. Yeah. 50 million quid for a player who never kicked a ball.
When's the last time we got someone who went, who's that? And then they went on to be good. Is it Hernandez? Who is it? Let us know in the comments. The last player that United bought that you either hadn't heard of or didn't know much about. Like Donny, maybe you could say, but we all knew him. We all knew him from that run. A couple of people have said Donny, but again, he was a Ballon d'Or nominee. Yeah, exactly. He'd gone to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Yeah. He wasn't unheard of. No. This wasn't who? When's the last? Is it Javier Hernandez? Let me know in the comments. Who was successful at United?
Danny Shields says, I can see why Ralph possibly told the board Maguire, Adam Wan-Bissaka and Shaw aren't good enough. They all have major weaknesses in a team trying to play a high line in possession-based pressing system. Thoughts? This was his report that came out, I think it was Graham Bailey, writes for 90 Minutes. I don't know if it's true or not. He said that Ralph Rangnick had given a report to the board where he said Maguire, Adam Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw aren't good enough. I mean, again, it's a lot of ifs and buts. Maybe if he has said it, then okay, that obviously shows where he's at. I'm not sure. No disrespect to Graham Bailey. I think it's Graham Bailey. I don't know a lot about him as a journalist. He may well have his sources, but he's not someone where I go, okay, that's someone, you know, who's broken stories before. No. I mean, this might be the one that puts him in that bracket, but at the minute, I just file it under... Personally, I'm doubtful.
Yeah, and it's also the sort of thing where you can reverse engineer that story.
Also, yeah, people there like... Emmett Toner said, Amad Diallo, again, you know...
But he's not a first-team player.
He played 60 minutes of professional football. Paid up to... We've had on 37 million.
And also, he hasn't come in and been a starter for Man United. He's a squad player at best. They were trying to loan him out in January.
I think people just having a laugh. You know, we haven't really had one, have we? No. And it's even the ones that you go, okay, it was worth it. Like, you know, we all sing that chant, don't we? 50 million down the drain. Tony Marshall scores again.
Maybe it's him.
Yeah, and like, really? We probably paid what we should have paid for it. Yeah. I don't think there's a massive bargain there. I think he's probably done what you'd expect a 50 million quid player to do.
Yeah, Bruno's the biggest bargain, but he wasn't a scouting miracle. Like I said, he was the most standout midfielder in Europe statistically. Yeah. So whilst we got him for a good price, you didn't go, have you heard of this Bruno? Like, yeah, of course I have. He just broke Frank Lampard's record. He just got 30 goals from midfield.
No, anyway. I agree. Anyway, we've got a read.
Fucking hell, smooth. Jesus Christ, this guy, huh? Happy New Year from our friends at Manscaped! Sorry, that was a signal to producer Callum, who's on the ball and he's got it up there. Yes, the ball has officially dropped. Oh, it has, yeah.
Put that back. I've been waiting for 40 odd years. But that does not mean you have to drop the ball on your balls.
It's time that you bring sexy back in 2022, Jay. And step up your game with Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0.
4.0. Join the 4 million men worldwide, which is as many men as there is in the world, I think, if my maths is correct, who trust Manscaped to help them ring in the new year with the right tools for the job.
It's about shaving your bollocks.
Yes,
isn't
that
it?
is what it's all about.
Go to manscaped.com, use the code PADDOCKLIVE, that's PADDOCKLIVE, PADDOCKLIVE for 20% off and free shipping. The link is in the description. Here's what I need to tell you. The new year is in, and it's a new you, yeah?
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah, exactly. And get your balls out and shave the hell out of them. Jay, you're a man that shaves your testicles, aren't you?
Well, this is it, like, you know me, I'm a bit old school in life, in general, in my attitudes, and I thought, shaving your knackers? Nah, it's not for me. You know, that's a bit too...
What are you, some Victorian hussy?
You some Scarlet Jezebel?
To prevent lice, and then you wear a merkin over the top, Well, that's not what you're doing. Because it's modern day, man.
You've got to get
keep
with
it
it, man.
tight.
Seriously.
Yeah.
No one's going to have it anymore when you're just rocking up with a great big massive
No, it's not cool.
It needs to be trimmed, and that's why you need to get on the Manscaped bus, because they've got the performance package
with
for you.
The Lawnmower 4.0. It's their electric trimmer designed to trim hair and avoid skin.
It reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate bits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's all sorts. They've got deodorant for your balls. They've got toner for your balls. They've got a nose hair trimmer called the Weed Whacker. Gets your ears as well.
The old nose hair trimmer.
Yeah, you need that.
I do need that at my age.
Do you want to know something? I've had bad nose hair since I was about 16.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you deal with it before Manscaped? How did you deal with it?
I just used to just lower my get the blender.
Yeah.
And I'd crack all the the crack all that. So just spinning in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Mom, stay out! The blender's going. And I just lowering it onto my nose. The amount of nostrils I've taken out. The amount of rhinoplasties that have gone on here.
I had rhinoplasty.
Did you?
Yeah,
God bless. Use the code PADDOCKLIVE at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will thank you. They've got all sorts on there. Check them out. Have a look. Click the link in the description. It's as easy as that. Thank you very much to Manscaped.
Thank you, Manscaped. Well done. And, remind me to get you a blender for your next birthday.
Thank you very much.
To replace the one that you've ruined.
By lowering my arsehole.
Lower your arsehole to it.
Jesse Lingard!
Jesse Lingard. I mean, it's all happening in it for the old Lingard.
He's
stuff.
off, innit?
Do you reckon?
I don't
Because
know.
Newcastle have come in. They're not playing games, and apparently there's a report that they're paying up to 12 million quid they've offered for a player that's out of contract in 5 months.
But think how much money they lose if they get relegated.
If they get relegated, they're in big trouble.
They lose all their players, loads of money. They're not guaranteed to come straight back up.
Their ability to buy the top tier players as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't just go to the Championship and then spend like 300 million on like Mbappe even, and Rudiger.
Like this sets their sort of transition back by anywhere up to 3 or 4 years. Because if they go down and don't come straight back up, that's another year.
Yeah.
They come back up, you have to convince players that you're not going to go back down again, so there's another year. And then once you're stabilised, then you can start spending the money. That's 2024 before they know what they're doing. They have to be desperate. They need to go for this now. I just don't know if it's possible for them still.
Yeah, I think though, if they got Lingard,
Yeah.
You especially see what he did at West Ham last season. He completely rejuvenated at the end of their season.
Yeah, he did.
Then he could definitely help keep them up. I don't think it's a bad move for him, because I think that he could be. I think they'll match his wages that he's on at Old Trafford.
He might be playing in the Championship next season.
That's the only question for him is, does he believe if he goes there, they're going to stay up?
What's the league table looking like at the minute? Can you get that up? Just so we can
because
analyse their chances of staying up and therefore his chances of going there. Yeah, it seems clear. The reports coming out tonight that Newcastle want to sign him permanently, not just a loan. That's the difference, isn't it?
Well, Newcastle are 2 points from safety, but they've played one game more than Watford. So
you know what? That's not far off, is it?
I mean,
let's be honest.
It does.
Is that it?
Yeah, it does feel like.
Fuck that! They can easily stay up.
Yeah, of course they can. There's another 18 games of them.
If they, I thought they were further off than that. I didn't realise quite how bad Watford are. They're only on 14 points. Newcastle on 12, but Watford have got a game in hand. But based on Watford's form, they'll probably lose that. If they start getting some decent players in, they can definitely stay up. He's the perfect player for them as well.
I think they can. I think it's just whether he's convinced on that. Mank93 says, I agree with Joe that not long ago I was wanting De Gea sold, and look at him now. I'm not a Maguire fan, but I will say it's not his fault he's been made captain or they had such a big price tag on him.
Yeah.
Very sensible comment there.
And to out myself as a bit of a hypocrite, I was someone who thought that De Gea's days were done. Yeah. So I'm happy to change my opinion.
No, it's a good example that. Yeah. Because I'm with you. I thought it was.
And his change in form was much longer than Maguire's. Maybe not quite as drastic. Yeah. But it was borderline 3 years where.
Do you know what it is though? Right. You just need one good game to turn things around. Phil Jones played well against Wolves, and he was almost hated after 2 years of not playing. And then some people going, Jones, look at him. He's all right, Phil Jones. Actually, now obviously. I'm not saying people are saying he should be back in the team or anything, but that one performance,
started to get that turn,
that respect.
Yes,
and I think that's all Maguire needs. If Maguire could start against West Ham and have a very good game, and we win, which is a big win against the top 4 team at the minute. They're in the top 4 at the minute, and then everyone goes, actually, Maguire's back to his best. Maguire, you look at him, there's a reason we paid $80 million.
There's a strange thing with him where I feel like people just don't like him. Like I don't think people want him to be good. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether he's a bit ugly, he's a bit ungainly, he's not got the class and the sort of presence of some of the great defenders we've had. But I don't feel like, in the same way people want Varane to be good or they want, other players to be good, I don't feel like they want Maguire to turn it around. People didn't like him really to start with, and they want him gone. I don't know, I just feel... Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Like there's something uncool about him, isn't there?
And it's a very...
Just a big northern boffin of a man.
It's a predominant sort of opinion as well. I hear it on socials, I hear it in the ground of a few people, I see it in a few of the group chats I'm in, which is a mixture of people that, go to the games and don't go to the games. So it's not like it's exclusive, people that go to the games all love him. They don't. There's some that don't. People that don't go to the games all hate him, whatever. It is a mix. I think there's several reasons. One, there's that sort of thing of, he's an easy target. He cost 80 million quid and he's won now.
Yeah, and his nickname is Slabhead.
Yeah, he is. He does look a bit like, he's not exactly the most exciting person, is it?
He's a bit ugly.
Yeah, also like little things like, he misses a lot of chances from corners. That can be a bit frustrating. When when he's up against it, like after the Mykonos thing, I was seeing him getting blamed for all sorts. I remember Martial got sent off and people were blaming Harry Maguire for his reaction to that red card as not being quick enough to go and kick off for the ref. Yeah. So little things like that can get amplified. And I just feel like he just basically needs to get back to the sort of form he had just before he got his injury. Because before he got his injury, United were racking up some good results, some
loads of clean sheets.
He was sort of being lauded.
Yeah.
And I think if he can get back to that, he'll be all right. I think part of the problem is some of his best performances come for England. And also part of the problem as well, I mean, he doesn't do himself some favours with some of his actions. Hugging John Stones after the derby is stupid.
Yeah.
It's just thick, that.
Yeah.
There's no... Do you know what I mean? I didn't lose my mind over it.
Innit, yeah.
But I didn't go mad because I just thought, you know what? Someone needs to have with him. You don't hug a City player after a 0-0 draw at Old Trafford with him. Sort your life out, especially not when you're the captain.
I agree.
Putting your fingers in your ears because you've scored a goal against San Marino after you've just been putting in 4 out of 10 performances for United. Don't do that. Yeah. And if you are going to do it, if you've done it, do it with your chest out. So, you know what, I've been up against it. I've had a lot of sticks, so I just thought, you know what, let's let everyone know. Don't go, just a knee slide, I wasn't really saying anything. Do you know what I mean? These things don't help you.
No.
So, but push comes to shove, you start playing well, all is forgiven.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Albania. Someone's just said in the comments there, Ross Murphy saying, I thought it was San Marino. So, forgive me, Bervin Coutinho's done quotes, and his nickname is Slabhead.
Yeah. That's what I mean, though. He's not cool, is he?
No.
He doesn't have that, like,
we interviewed him, me and Mackham,
Rolls Royce about him.
We met him because Puma had this new boot out, and this was just before lockdown. And we went and met him at this ground somewhere. I can't remember, it was a non-league ground. He was filming an advert there. So we sat down with him in the changing rooms. Obviously, his agent, everyone was there, or the people looking after him noticed his agent, but from Puma.
It's like his carers.
Yeah, well, you got like people there from Puma or wherever, and they're like, oh, you only got like 10 minutes with him or 20 minutes. We had a load of questions. We did a quick fire captain's quiz round, and then we did a full interview with him. And I thought he was all right. I quite liked him. He came across as pretty down to earth. He's done a bit of homework about being a captain. He didn't know we were going to ask him a captain's quiz, but he'd been like, he spent time with Brian Robson, he knew a lot about the club, and I got a good impression of him.
Yeah.
And I think Macca said he felt he was a bit boring, but I thought he was all right. I thought he was a pretty sound guy.
Yeah. Now,
the problem for us, the reason the interview didn't go out, this was on Full Time Devils, was we went into lockdown and Puma brought out a new boot and they didn't want us to use that interview because the crux of the interview was, we're here with Harry Maguire, who's, wearing these new boots, whatever. So we couldn't use it. But I got a good impression of him and I thought, okay, he's someone who isn't a Roy Keane side captain, but who is. But he can be a good captain for Manchester United. He seems to have the right attitude. I just feel like he's going backwards a little bit. And I do feel like other people have said it's getting a bit too much for him. Anyway, we'll move on for Harry Maguire and we'll talk about Ousmane Dembele.
It's a right story, this
is a soap opera.
United have been linked with him since he was at Dortmund, by the way.
And also, just to put it out there straight away, I don't want him at United.
I don't want him at United.
No.
We'll get into this.
But this is so odd because basically now, you see, Ousmane Dembele is saying he won't give in to blackmail. The reason we're covering this is, like Joe said, we have been linked with him, we're still linked with him, because this is a kid who could be available for free in the summer, couldn't he? Now, I'll read the story. The story is in Evening News. So it says, Manchester United target Ousmane Dembele has hit back at Barcelona following claims he wanted to leave the Spanish Giants. The Catalan club director, Mateo Almene, this morning said Dembele would be sold this month after the player decided he would not renew his contract, which is set to expire at the end of the season.
He's basically said, we're going to get him out of here as quick as possible.
Yeah, because they lose 135 million quid if he goes in the summer from now, which he probably will do. So this director has said, it's clear that Dembele does not want to continue at Barcelona and he doesn't want to be part of our project. We told Dembele he has to leave immediately. We expect Ousmane to be sold before January the 31st. Now, Dembele is for or said, I'm not having any of this. This is like, I'm just having it.
This is like, you know, when the whole Martial thing. This is that on steroids, isn't it?
This is at least Martial.
Not just because he's French.
Cares a little bit, no matter what you think about United and about his reputation and about his relationship with the fans. Dembele's just gone turbo on this one. He's like down a load of Stella and thought, bring it on,
What's
you
he said?
absolute muppets. So he said, I am 24 years old, and like every man, I have flaws, imperfections. I have lived through complex moments, injuries. COVID has affected me. Without the slightest training session, the coach has requested me, and I've always complied without question. Perform as well as I have always done, as this is my passion. I'm fully aware of my luck to dedicate myself to the most beautiful job in the world. My message is transparent. This is where it goes a little bit like, bring it on. I forbid anyone to give the forbid, I love that.
Yeah.
To give the impression that I am not involved in the sports project. I forbid anyone to attribute intentions to me that I've never had. I forbid anyone to speak for me or my representative whom I fully trust. Still under contract, I am fully involved and at the disposal of my club, my coach, and I am not a man who cheats, and even less of a man who has a habit of giving in to blackmail. So he sort of said, firing shots back at whatever his name is, Almany, saying, I'm not having any of this, I'm not going to respond to blackmail. I think the short and long of that is, I'm sticking around, I ain't going anywhere.
Mad that, isn't it?
That's all he's saying.
Why would you want to stay?
Well, I think he wants to stay.
Fat money.
Because he knows when he does leave, he's going to get a massive signing on fee for wherever he goes to because they've not paid any money for him.
He'll get 20 million off someone.
Yeah. Like, he could go to, let's say, for example, he goes to Chelsea. I'm not saying he will, but let's say he goes there. They're not paying any fee for him, so they can give him 350 grand a week or whatever, and 30 million quid signing on fee. It's not a bad deal, is it? And he's obviously happy.
So would you? I mean, he's constantly linked with United. He will be following this. He will be in the summer if he goes for a free. You said you don't want him. Why don't you want him?
Look at his.
He's played like 80 games in 5 years.
Right, stats don't tell you anything. Yeah, they don't tell you a performance of a player. They don't tell you how influential he's been. They don't tell you, the type of goals he scored or whatever. I know something like them. They don't tell you how important some of those goals were. If you look at it, he's got that many goals and that many assists and that many games. It doesn't mean a lot. But one thing that sort of does tell you a lot is how many times they played.
Yeah.
That tells you the basics you need to know of how reliable they are in terms of injuries and fitness and just availability.
Selectability.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Now, Dembele's record is patchy at best. I mean, his first season at Barcelona, I think he played 23 games in all competitions. His second one, 42 in all competitions. Okay, that's steady. His third one, 9 in all competitions. His second one, his third one after that, 44 in all competitions. And then so far this season, I think he's played 11 times. So it's patchy. It's like, he has had these injury problems. He has had as well, we just know about Dembele. He hasn't quite lived up to the expectation there.
Not quite. No, not at all.
Not at all, sorry.
He costs twice as much as Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Or just under twice as much.
I mean, I do feel Barcelona overpaid for him, obviously. Like
one of the great overpays in history, Joe.
Like, there was that, I think it was the Champions League semi-final where Barcelona basically had, was it Griezmann and Dembele on the bench or whatever, for like 250 million quid's worth of players. And then Felipe Coutinho, who cost 145 million quid, playing against them as their loanee and scoring twice against them. That was like the symbol of where Barcelona had got to.
Yeah, at least Griezmann got a few goals for him. Dembele's just been, it's up there as one of the biggest wastes of money of all time.
He is, and listen, he's obviously a talented kid. You don't go for that sort of money unless you've got some talent.
No.
Can he be relied upon injury-wise? I don't think he can.
No.
Form-wise...
And also, is he that good when he's not injured? No. He's pretty good, and that's it. It's not enough.
That, for me, it would just stink of a United signing. Yeah. In terms of the things we do
get him on
wrong.
a free, might as well. Martial's gone, we've got a space on the left-hand side.
And then it's like, you'll move, Lingard who's been doing well, you move him on, or you don't get a game. Yeah. Marcus don't get a game. Then Dembele comes in, he's your first choice. And then, you have all these people that all love Dembele and all that, and he gives you, like, a few goals or whatever, but it's in the long run, it doesn't work out. It's like, I just think, just avoid that. Just avoid it all. And it's not an area where we're desperate for reinforcements anyway.
No.
Danny Shield says, I'd have more respect for Maguire if he admitted the armband was too big for him, the way that Valencia did with the number 7 shirt and focus on his position. I understand that, but I think he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, Maguire.
Yeah.
If Maguire comes out and goes, the armband's too big for me, the story could quite easily become, Maguire, gives up the armband, he doesn't respect the armband, he bottles it. No. So I don't think there's a happy way to go about that. Then it's Zakaria.
Yeah.
This is, I was reading this is in Sky Sports Germany. Zakaria interest has cooled. The word talks between Zakaria's management and United, but interest has cooled. Do we care?
No.
No, I didn't want him anyway. I
didn't fancy you anyway.
No, you know what I mean.
You were good anyway.
Didn't fancy anyway.
Oh, you got a boyfriend, didn't fancy you anyway.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's welcome to you. You're his problem now.
Yeah. See you later. And lads, come back now. She got, no, I didn't want her anyway. That's you.
Alright, that's the last time I tell you anything. Zakaria, this is a kid who's going to cost us about 12 quid.
That's it, isn't it?
It was like 6 million.
Pocket change.
And everyone's going, 6 million, just get him. Yeah. Yes, let's get another midfielder that doesn't play for us and stick him on the bench. That'll be a good idea, won't it?
We wanted something to be excited about, Jay.
Yeah.
Why are you so annoyed at, I don't know, progress? Ever heard of it? Ambition? Ever heard of it?
Maybe if we buy enough midfielders, one of them will be really good.
Yeah, how about we ask the ref in the next game, can we play with 13 players?
Yeah.
So we can have the position of Matic, the energy of Fred, and the passing ability of Pogba.
That would be the ultimate final insult, wouldn't it, for Donny van der Beek? If we bought a kid for 6 million quid and then gave him a game before Van der Beek.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know if this kid's any good, but he's better than you.
We're going to give him the number 31 as well.
Yeah. Sorry, Donny. You're not in the squad today. We're playing 3 goalkeepers in the squad. And also this kid we bought for 6 quid.
Hey, do you want to play as a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
And wear the gloves on the bench?
Hey. That interest is cooled. I don't even know how solid that interest was, to be honest with you. I don't even know how warm it was. Bruno Fernandes.
My favourite player.
Yes. Following reports that contract talks have been put on hold, Romano said on 5 even, Rio's channel, that he's confident Bruno will sign a new deal this year. He's reportedly on 100k a week and contracted until 2026.
Absolute pittance for him, isn't it? I'm so glad he's got these, because the thing is, the whole goal contribution thing, as you said, doesn't tell the whole story, doesn't really matter. But I know based on interviews, he gives a fuck about that. When there was questions about how quickly he got to 100 goal contributions or 50 or whatever it was a few months ago, he was like, I always keep an eye on these things. I look at, I want to get 1 goal contribution per game. That's his thing. And so I know to him it matters. And I know to him 2 assists and 2 goals in the last 2 games means a lot. And that will give him more confidence, and that will in turn increase those numbers. And obviously that's good for Man United. He's been United's best player since he arrived by a mile. Don't let a few bad matches this season convince you otherwise. He deserves, if anyone deserves more than 100 grand a week, which human-wise I'm not sure anyone does, but in the realm of football where money doesn't matter and nothing's real, he deserves as much as anyone at the club. So give him a bigger deal. He's a brilliant player. He's still probably our best player. Give him what he wants, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I've defended Bruno quite a lot. He got a little bit of stick earlier this season. I understand, he's very talented, and some of his performances were a bit erratic.
Yeah, they were.
But you got to give him a bit of sympathy as well. We always make excuses for Paul Pogba, saying Paul Pogba's been surrounded by players that aren't good enough, and that's part of the problem he's had. Bruno came into a team that was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
We just lost to Burnley 2-0 at home. We were 6 points off the top 4. We went on a 21-game unbeaten run, where we won in most of those games, thanks to him, who's got a goal or an assist every single game.
Yeah.
He couldn't have done any more.
No.
And it's he's carried this team for so long, and I just feel like he doesn't get, at times, this sounds weird, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves.
I don't think he does at all. And this whole thing of is he good as this, he's not as good at, shut up. No one in the world is doing what he's doing. And look at his numbers this season. I think it's 20 goals and assists.
Yeah.
Something already this season. And you think he's had a bad year, and he's got 20 goals and assists, and we're still in January.
Volta Burker says, unlike the others, Bruno has a heart. Listen, the last thing, or the minimum thing I expect from United players, no matter what, is effort and giving a toss, and he cares.
Yeah.
He does. Even if he's had a bad game, he's busting a gut to try and make things happen and to try and get hold of the ball. And okay, sometimes that might be his undoing because he tries things he shouldn't try. He gets involved in silly arguments with referees and opposition players at times.
Week.
Yeah, but he's at least giving you that effort, and he's got class as well. Let's not forget, Bruno Fernandes does certain things with football that none of his other teammates, barely any of his other teammates, can do. There's a reason he's getting, he's back amongst the goals and assists, because he's capable of it.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Do you know if Juan Mata had a bit more pace?
Yeah.
He's kind of like that, isn't he? He's not quite as classy and as perfect touch as Mata was. But do you know the other day, the goal where yesterday, the goal where he passed it to Greenwood? Like Juan Mata couldn't have made that run.
No.
You know, he doesn't have the pace to keep the defenders off him. He's just got a bit more in it. He's brilliant. I love him.
And it's like we just forget some of the things that Bruno has done.
Yeah.
Like we just think, penalties, but look at some of the goals he scored.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like look at the goal against Everton in that 3-all.
Incredible.
People forget that goal because we drew 3-all when we were 3-2.
The free kick against Liverpool.
The free kick against the Scousers. These are fantastic goals. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's
the chip over the defence against City for Martial's goal.
Yeah, these are little things that, you know, we should be lauding this guy and going, wow, look, we've finally got a player who consistently can play for us, because Pogba's got that in his locker, but he misses a lot of games. And then you've got someone who plays a lot of games, gets you a lot of goals, gets you a lot of assists, unlocks defences, tries his hardest, gives you his all.
And we still find a reason to pick him apart.
Yeah, I mean, if you took Bruno out of that team, we'd be in all sorts of trouble.
Do you know where we'd be? Because it's where we've been for years. It is 6th. And I know we're not far off that now, but this season's just a madness. But you know what I mean? That's where we'd be every year if it wasn't for him.
Last but not least, this is the big one.
This is it.
And I'm not taking a mick here.
Hey!
Dean Henderson has decided to fight for his number 1 spot. Good.
Yeah.
Like, I like Dean Henderson. It wasn't that long ago I thought he should have been given a chance as our number 1.
Me too.
David De Gea has obviously put paid to that with some fantastic performances. Dean Henderson's going to stick around and fight for his number 1 spot, apparently, according to reports, which is good. He's still a young goalkeeper. He's still a completely different goalkeeper to David De Gea. Very good in the air, very good at distribution.
I like him.
It's very close between him and De Gea. I just feel like De Gea, at the minute the form he's in, you're not going to drop him, are you?
No, he's weirdly undroppable, De Gea. Yeah. Because, yes, he's got flaws, and obvious ones that we've all known about for a decade. Yeah. He's not good at coming off his line. He don't command his box. He's a bit sort of limp-wristed when it comes to clearances and, you know, getting bullied by defenders in the air. His distribution's not great. All of these things, but he's the best shot stopper. He's up there as one of the best shot stoppers ever. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? On his day, there are very few goalkeepers in history that can make the saves he can make. So you can't drop him, but yet he's got these obvious weaknesses. And Henderson has the opposite. He's a decent shot stopper. He's great at coming off his line. His distribution's very good. He's a great sweeper keeper. They sort of slot into each other's weaknesses, if you'll pardon the expression, particularly well. But you can't drop David De Gea the way he's been playing. So I'm glad he's going to stick around. I mean, is this a new thing? I know obviously it's gone on for years, but where the player just goes, I know I've got 4 years left on my contract, but I'm going. Like, why does that happen all the time? How can you sign a contract and go, forget this? Do you ever ring up your phone supplier going, I know I just signed a 2-year deal, but I'm not going to pay this deal anymore. I want to go to 3 instead of 0-2. We just signed a 2-year deal. Yeah, I know, but I'm not happy with this deal. You can't do that. When you sign a deal, that's it. And yet footballers just go, I've got 4 years left, but I'm leaving. Yeah. Like Ronaldo at Juve, just like, I'm out. What do you mean you're out? Yeah, but you know you can do it. It does. Player power does seem rife. I'll get into a couple of comments. Go on. Yashigami says, imagine if Glazers just gave their dividends to Bruno. CJRSA says, battle of the goalies. Yashigami says, also we can sell Endo for 40 million if he plays. DB Cooper says, Jay, can you please tell Joe I said hi? No, I'm not doing that. Right, thanks for all the comments in the chat and everyone who got involved. Much appreciated. Yes. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel if you're not doing. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers. Come on, subscribe. Put a link in the chat for a subscribe, please. Hey, did Liverpool win? Producer Callum. Did Liverpool win? We don't even care, do we? I mean, I'd rather they'd lost. No, I think they went through, didn't they? Yeah, they went through. Dickheads. Arsenal, just Arsenal, innit, though, innit? Oh, we got close. Don't matter, does it? Don't matter. Arteta's better than everyone. Ramsdale let the ball go through the middle of his net. Yeah, Ramsdale was awful. Yeah, there's a link there in the chat. Click on that link and subscribe to the channel if you're not doing it. Everyone that's watching who isn't a subscriber, click on that link in the chat. It should be pinned in the chat. Thanks for everyone's support. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a super chat here. Go on, then. I can't. Hang on a minute. Danny Shields. Oh, no, it's not. I did read it. Ignore me. Bloody hell, Joe. Ignore me. I'm back in the morning with the news. Joe, you know where to find him. Joe Smith, 93. Huh? Yeah, see? Got it right. And you'll be here as well at the weekend with the watch-along, and we've got the preview as well coming out tomorrow as well. So it's all happening. Make sure you check out all that good stuff. This has been Paddock Live. Big thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring. Check them out. Link in the description. Check them out. See you in the next one.